So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. And um, grab your coffee, and if you wanted to share one with me while you're at it, links for that down below. And here we go. So, I haven't done any videos in a long time. Sorry about that. The truth is that I have been distracted, busy, overwhelmed, tired, pissed, and all kinds of things. And so, yeah, not exactly the best time to make videos. And not exactly the best time to try to tell you things because I am in my own world and therefore I can't share something that might be interesting to everybody or has the same point of view. So, having said all of that, then today we are going to be talking about a lot of things all together. Basically, daily life and understanding of the news. So, understanding news, it's extremely difficult because you have so much information and there is very little people that you might actually trust within a group, and also because people have a high tendency to be biased, and when they are biased they are not telling you, hey, I'm biased. And so you want to try to be with people that are fair, or at least the most fair possible, and within human constraints, of course. And then you want to try to understand the background. And understanding the background is extremely difficult because if I am facing the cell phone right now, I am not facing my back. And you can see there that there is a wall. That wall does not allow you to see beyond that wall into the street. And then there is a street that has another house. And so even if I had no wall, then there is another house. And that house is not going to let you see what is behind that house. And therefore, there are a lot of things that are behind anyone who is posting anything that you cannot see. And you can only see a frame. And so when you are understanding news, or when somebody says anything about a news, you have a lot of issues. Therefore, I'm going to try to explain to you several things. News are not meant for kids. The reason being, kids do not have the capacity, the mental capacity, to understand context. And they also do not have the mental capacity to understand values. And they also do not have the capacity to make comparisons, which are three major things that adults are meant to handle when they are facing news. Number one, you gotta look at the context, because something that happens in Venezuela, okay, I'm in Australia, or something that happens in Africa, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm in Canada. So context is very important. Then the second part, which is understanding the value. I mean, for example, if you put a kid to choose between I don't know, let's say candies and toys, and then you put something else like let's say something extremely valuable and extremely expensive. Let's say something like a calculator that is a scientific calculator that has a video camera and things like that. It's a very expensive equipment, and obviously it's for somebody who is a professional in this area. And then you put the kid to choose between those two, and the kid will be, oh no, I'm going with the candy. which one do you want to sell, or which one do you want? Yeah, the candy. See what I mean? Why? Well, because they don't understand the value of candy, or the value of money, or the value of work, or the value of professional equipment, or the value of certain materials, or whatever it is. And in fact, this one, at this point, most adults do not understand value. Period. Just because value is taught by experience. Value is not even taught in a book that you might be able to write, or you might be able to read, or whatever it is. The reason being, it's an experience thing. You put value into the things that you consider important. If you don't consider it important, then for all I know, I mean, take a look at this. The value of things, for example. There was an experiment in which there was a musician in New York. This musician charged, I think, $500 per hour or something like this. It's just insane. This is a violin guy, and he is top 10 in the world or something like this. It's insane. People pay hundreds, if to get to hear him for only one concert. So this guy did a free concert in the subway, and virtually no one stood to just listen. No one. So he's famous. People pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to try to go to see him and things like this. And here he is freelancing, and nobody values him. Why not? Oh, because the people that are going through the subway and things like this are in their own world, and they don't value music, and they probably value a lot the time that they have to get to work, because otherwise they will not make money, and if they don't make money, they don't eat. So food over anything, right? Or rent over anything, right? Or stuff like this. And there were kids that were trying to stop the adults. Hey, there is a guy playing, and the guy sounds amazing. Yeah, let's go. So value is not taught. Value is due to your experience, and value is due to your preferences, and value is done because of priorities and things like this. Therefore, no one in the entire planet will share your values. Not one person will be 100% aligned with you in terms of values, because it is not the same perspective. And it is something that it is not taught. It is just experience. Therefore, when you are talking about the news, if you are a person that is overwhelmed with your own life, and you are fed up, and you're pissed, and you are like, oh my god, yeah. If somebody comes with news like gossip, like, oh, did you see the dress of somebody like that? Then you will find it distractive. And therefore, you will see that people do not have money to buy food, and yet they will buy the most expensive TVs and things like this to watch people's dresses. And then it does not make sense, right? Because and like I said, we are not logical. If you are a human being and you are thinking that we are logical, I do not know how you can call yourself a human being. We are energy that is moving, therefore we have a lot of emotions. That rules everything, and then we have logic. If we had logic before anything, then we will not be where we are. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. And so, when you're talking about news, the news should have preferences for things that are destructive type. The reason being, most people, I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying most people will always value, hey, somebody's jumping and they look funny, let's go see. Somebody is they're slapping somebody else, and then they are laughing, and they are jumping, and they are doing weird things, let's go see. But if somebody comes and says, hey, Somebody's explaining how to make money. You mean bore me? Why do I care? Yeah, most people will not go there. But somebody goes and says, hey, we can get that one cheaper. And somebody's explaining how to make things cheaper. Yeah, and everybody will run there. I'm sorry. You would rather have something cheaper than make more money. Yeah. Why? Your preference, you don't have mental space. There is something called mental energy. There is something called emotional energy. There is something called spiritual energy. There is something called physical energy. And like I said, energy is the very foundation of the whole human beings. And even then, we are not equal. And so when you're talking about news, it is just insane because most people are tired. And if you are tired, mentally drained and all of this, you don't have a space to create anything. All you have is a space to repeat the pattern that is already in your head. And if not, then you need something to distract yourself, because otherwise you will murder everybody else, because you will be so pissed and you will be so overwhelmed, so tired, so everything, so overwhelmed and things like this. And at this point you will see that a lot of people that have guns actually do it. Why? Well, because they are fed up. They can't handle one tiny bit more of energy. Why? Because the patterns that they have been repeated for so long that it is like you've been in a labyrinth and you can't get out. And so you need a way out of your own head. So how do you get out of your own head? Through news and through other stuff that other people provide. And at that point you will have all kinds of issues with the news. See what I mean? So values is extremely important. And at this point, if you want your kids or yourself to improve this, then you gotta experience more. Experience more means you gotta get out of your comfort zone and travel. You gotta get out of your comfort zone and meet people that you might disagree with. I'm not saying you go to toxic people or go and get a fight with them or something like this. I'm saying, let's say that you are always with people that are like me, into reading and stuff like this. Then get a friend that is into going to the gym. And then you're like, yeah, but I'm not going to the gym. Yeah, but your friend that is going to the gym might provide you with a different perspective. So buy a coffee for him or her and tell him or her, hey, I am trying to read or something like that about going to the gym, but you go to the gym, right? So how is it going to the gym and things like this? And you will get an experience. Now, if you're not the type of person that can buy a coffee or something like this to friends or something like this because you are introverted or whatever, then, like I said, travel. And if you can't travel for whatever reason, then get into a library or get into a thing that you do best. Like, for example, I have friends who are mostly guys, by the way, who don't get along with a lot of people, but they do get along with machines. And so, great, go and do something like that. But if you're always doing that, then try something else. Rather than getting into the repair of a machine, why don't, for example, you try to get to create a new machine or something like this? Or join a forum in which you don't have to even say your own name or whatever. And in this forum, you can ask, hey, I'm into machinery. What else can we do other than machinery? What other people that are like you are probably interested in something else and they can teach you. The point is, values is experienced through the contact with the outside world, and is experienced through the contact with other people. So basically we need each other. There is no way around it. Because try to imagine if you were the only person in the entire planet. Seriously. Then let's say that you are not into gyms and you are not into any kind of I don't know, let's say 1,000 things that you are not into. Then all of those things will just disappear. And let's say that for whatever reason you have a miracle and you're with your family, as in your kids, and your kids learn everything that there is to know about you, but they don't learn about James and they don't learn about anything else because you didn't do it. See? That's why also we need kids to have experiences with teens and adults. But supervised, because adults have an understanding of things that kids do not. And so, which brings me to the third part. When you are going to talk about news, you gotta understand comparisons. Comparisons. As in, okay, this news is a repetition of the news 20 years ago. What do you mean? Well, 20 years ago, this same thing happened, and this was the result. So, if history to have a tendency to repeat itself, then this is what's going to happen. Unless there is something else going on, and then at this point, when you're doing comparisons, you will be able to understand that, okay, the situation 20 years ago was like this, but now we have internet, now we have this, now we have that, now we have this, and that can make it worse or can make it better, and that can also make it, give you an understanding of where are you going with this information, and why do you want to care about it, or why you do not want to care about it. Because if you're in Australia, you might not care about what happens in Africa, or what happens in Venezuela, or whatever it is, right? But if you are in Japan and something happens in Japan, and here is the thing, the news about other places are way more interesting than our own news. So at this point, I gotta tell you that if you want to understand your own place, call a foreigner. And you're like, what? No, seriously, call a foreigner. Why? Because a foreigner will have a better understanding of your own situation. Why? It's the same thing that I'm just telling you. It's a comparison. What do you mean? Well, so for example, if you go to, let's say that you are like me, you are from the American continent, you're from Canada to Argentina, whatever country you're in this thing. And all of a sudden you go and you say, hey, you know what? I want to go to Japan and see Japan. And then you go to Tokyo and you meet your friends. So when you meet your friends, you ask, hey, can you show me around? And your friends are probably going to show you restaurants and things like this. But then you go, and if you are a little bit like me, then you go, hey, I want to see this museum. What? There is no museum. Yes, there is. I want to see this place. I'm sorry, I'm from Tokyo and that is not from here. Yes, it is. And then your friends are going to be, hey, I'm from Tokyo. I have been here my entire life and I did not know that there was a museum in here. And I did not know that there was this thing in here. And I did not know that that you will have this in here either. And then you're like, you're from Tokyo. How the hell can you not know that these things are in here? Same thing here. When I have friends that are from abroad that come here, they are like, where is this place? And I'm like, I'm sorry, you are asking the wrong person. Yeah, but you're from here. Yeah. You don't know your own place. 99% of people do not know their own place. Why? Because you don't make comparisons. Why? Duh. It's part of being adult. The fact that you should understand your own surroundings. But quite frankly, we are not adults. I don't care. I'm 40, but I'm not an adult. And I don't care about anybody else. Seriously, we are not adults. We are not. We are just kids that have a weird pattern thing. Seriously. We are just kids with a weird pattern thing, okay? It's not that we don't want to become an adult. It's just that the comparisons to become an adult are not there. And the reason for that is that we don't have a lot of news about our own place. And we do not have a lot of things that are important to understand this topic. Now I gotta go, so I will continue this video later.